What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for being with me this evening. Please do the routine, share this video, get it out there, hit the thumbs up. Do me a favor. If you're on Facebook right now, exclamation point notified, type that in. If you want to get notifications, you can always turn them off later on, but please, exclamation point and notified, do that right now. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit the YouTube thumbs up for me. Hit the thumbs up for me on YouTube, and the same thing on Rumble. Hit that thumbs up for me. And there's share buttons on those as well. Please share the video out. Let's get to this first thing, because, they're still they're still angry because the Supreme Court upheld the U.S. Constitution. Joe Biden even admitted that he's not even supposed to do this. Even Obama, when he was going against the U.S. Constitution, he even admitted that he shouldn't have been doing it, but they did it anyways. I've talked about them wanting to do away with the Constitution so much. I've talked about it time and time again. Not enough times for me to say time and time again. But they don't care about the U.S. Constitution. They're overlooking it. And then they tell all of the people, they tell all of their base that, oh my goodness, the radical extremist Supreme Court. See, there's only an extreme Supreme Court when it's not left leaning, when it's not doing all this tyrannical stuff. Then it's extreme. So, and they do the same thing when it comes to Christians. They say Christians are extreme because Christians don't want to go along with this demonic evil stuff that they're pushing. Do y'all seeing a pattern? Are you seeing a pattern? At least I'm seeing it. Well, listen to, I can't ever pronounce her name, but I want y'all to listen to her. Go ahead and split screen for me. How you say Jalapa? I think that's how you say her name. But listen to what she says about the Supreme Court. And they are still very, very angry about the Supreme Court upholding the U.S. Constitution. How is it possible, right? How is it possible that a person become a congressman or woman and they disregard the U.S. Constitution? Well, we kind of know the reason why she wants to disregard the U.S. Constitution. We know the reason why. We'll get into that a little bit later on in a different topic. But listen to what she says about the Supreme Court.
The extreme Supreme Court just released a terrible decision striking down President Biden's executive order to cancel student debt for 43 million people across this country who are being crushed by that student debt, a total of $1.7 trillion in student debt that is out there right now in this country. The reality is that 90% of that student debt cancellation would have gone to people earning less than $75,000. These are folks for whom this ability to cancel student debt allows them to get out from under the burden, be able to buy a house, be able to start a small business.
But the whole thing is getting the federal government to pay off your student loan, the same student loan that you signed the papers and that you agreed to pay back yourself and not get someone else to pay it back, that student loan. The federal government is going to give them money, and she's literally saying that now the Republican Supreme Court is preventing people from buying a home. Do you see how she's literally taking this and twisting it, making it out to something? She doesn't even know what she's talking about, so she's lying and making up something. Just listen.
The reality is that 90% of that student debt cancellation would have gone to people earning less than $75,000. These are folks for whom this ability to cancel student debt allows
listen to this.
Allows them to get out from under the burden, be able to buy a house.
What? You're going to buy a house if you get under the student loan, the burden. I mean, this is what this is about. So the federal government can buy you a home,
be able to start a small business.
Oh, so you can start a small business. So they're going to pay off your student loan so you can buy a house and start a small business. Is anyone else seeing what she doesn't have a clue on what she's talking about?
How can people even do that in this economy?
Interest rates are so high,
right?
I mean, for her, it's the nerve that she even said. This just only proves that she doesn't have a clue what she's talking about. She's making it up as she goes along. So you can buy a house, start a business. So now, this is all they're doing. All she's doing, and no Democrat is coming up there and saying, you got that wrong. Not a single one of them, because they're pushing it out there to all of their constituents, everyone who's believing the nonsense that they're saying, that Republicans and the Supreme Court are now preventing you from starting a business and buying a home.
Be able to participate fully in our economy.
Really? Oh, now you won't even be able to participate in the economy.
And so many of the people affected are Black, brown, indigenous, and poor folks.
Oh, really? Black, brown, indigenous, and poor folks. What? So let me get this straight. The student loan was only going to go to Black, brown, indigenous, and poor folks. No one else. Am I to assume that everybody's white is not poor? I mean, what is she saying? Again, this just proves she doesn't have a clue on what she's talking about. She's talking out of the side of her neck. That's exactly what she's doing. How is this even possible, right? She's a member of Congress. I mean, it doesn't, I guess, again, you can be brain dead and be a member of Congress, Democrat, because I don't know any Republicans that would vote for someone who's, literally brain dead.
This is a terrible decision from this extreme MAGA Republican Supreme Court. We will fight back. We will ensure that there is a continued attempt to cancel student debt for people across this country.
You hear this? They want to continue, right? Even though now that the Supreme Court has ruled, they don't care. They're going to continue down this path.
To buy your vote.
That's what it really comes down to. I wasn't going to say that out loud, but that's what it comes down to.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's what it really comes down to. Because there's only one reason why they're coming out here trying to tell everybody that, hey, we're going to cancel your debt. Well, look at this next one. Because this was Joe Brandon on the campaign trail. Or actually, it wasn't even on the campaign trail. To my understanding, Shannon, this was after he walked through the doors of the White House. This was after.
It was one of the town halls.
And this is the town hall that he was doing. It's a town hall. I'm not going to say the first word there. It was a town hall. Okay. A town hall that Joe Biden is doing. Just split screen for me. And this lady, okay, I'm pretty sure. And this lady goes, $10,000 forgiveness is not enough. She wants $50,000 as a minimum, right? She's like, hey, so hers is probably, her student loan is probably $42,000, $40,000. So then she'll have $10,000 left over. She wants a minimum of $50,000. And I want y'all to pay attention to what Joe Brandon says. Listen to what he says. Because he straight up said it's a little tight spot. I might have to take it back just so you can hear it, but it's a little tight spot where he says that he can't do it. But they did it anyways, right? And now what it was, I think the last thing they were talking about, Shannon, was $20,000 for the student loan debt. They were trying to get that, and the Supreme Court shot it all down. Yeah, because they're all screaming that you would have gotten $20,000, people. Look what these bad Republicans and the Supreme Court justices did to you. They did this to you. Like they forced them to go get a student loan. They forced them to do this, but they did this to you. Listen to this interaction.
Student loans are crushing my family, friends, and fellow Americans.
Me too.
Really? I guess he's talking about Hunter Biden. Is he talking about Hunter? Is that what he's talking about here? Hunter? Him too? I mean, what he got to pay off, right? I mean, just let's go look at the WhatsApp.
Student loans are crushing my family, friends, and fellow Americans.
Me too.
The American dream is to succeed, but how can we fulfill that dream when debt is many people's only option for a degree? We need student loan forgiveness beyond the potential $10,000 your administration has proposed. We need at least a $50,000 minimum.
$50,000 minimum. I mean, straight up socialist right there. I mean, really, we need you to pay $50,000. And it's actually everyone that's watching. You be paying the $50,000, right? This is straight up ask the rich to steal from the poor to give to those that don't want to do their part. That's essentially what's happening here. Now, pay attention. I purposely stopped it here. Pay attention what Joe Biden said. First time he's going to come out and say no. He's not going to do it. But I want y'all to pay attention. The reason why he won't do 50,000, but he's willing to do 10,000 at the time, which now today is 20,000, which got turned over.
What will you do to make that happen?
I will not make that happen.
I will what? I will what?
What will you do to make that happen?
No. I will not make that happen.
Oh, really? He said he won't make that happen, Shannon. He says not going to make it happen. But listen, this is a little bit more. I want y'all to pay attention.
I'm prepared to write off the $10,000 debt.
He's prepared to write off the $10,000.
But not 50.
Now listen to his reasoning for not doing the 50, but the 10.
Mr. President, let me ask you.
Because I don't think I have the authority to do it by sign of a pen.
Did you hear what he just said? Did you hear what he just said? Listen.
Mr. President, let me ask you.
Because I don't think I have the authority to do it by sign of a pen.
Because I don't think I have the authority to doing it by the signing of the pen. I don't have the authority. The man doesn't have the authority to do $1, let alone 1 red cent. It's unconstitutional. The federal government is not there to just give money out. This is not a socialist country. That's part of the reason why the Democrats right now want to do away with the U.S. Constitution. They hate that document. They despise it. That document has prevented them from going full on commie. The U.S. Constitution has prevented them from doing every demonic thing that they wanted to do. They see the U.S. Constitution as a roadblock, kind of like the way they see President Trump, because, you know, President Trump has mentioned it multiple times that they say that they're going after Trump, but they're actually going after the rest of us. He's just in the way. It's exactly what it is. And then not only did the student loan, fall flat on his face, but so did affirmative action. And apparently a lot of black people and a lot of, white liberals, they hate the fact that Will Johnson don't think that we need affirmative action. And I've never benefited from affirmative action. I've never gotten a job because of affirmative action. Never. Right? Never. I've always got a job because, hey, I applied myself. Now, if the company was doing affirmative action, they didn't tell me, because there was other black people working there too. But the jobs that I got was the jobs that I was pushing for. I went and got certified.
I mean, I would say that most...
And so I can get the job.
I would say that most minorities that have gotten their jobs is not because of affirmative action. It is because of their merit, I would think. And the company's just desire for diversity. Because even you said, Will, I mean, what company wouldn't want to have a diverse workforce with different ideas and, different things they bring to the table? That's why we don't need affirmative action anymore. Right? Not because of DEI. I'm not talking about that, where they're mandated different. Once again. Yeah. It's another form of affirmative action, in my opinion.
It really is.
America is different than it used to be. I mean, we really are. Do you not think so?
America is a lot different. We don't need... So, like I've mentioned it so many times, there used to be a need for it when the left used to prevent people like me from voting, or prevent women from voting, or didn't want me to be able to read, didn't want me to, to succeed. It was always been the left. Did you know the Republican Party was created? So it was created by white people and black people so that black people can have representation. Did you know that? I didn't realize that until after I started making my transition. And I read that. I'm like, they never told me that in school, that the Republican Party was created. I mean, it really was. This is in the history books. Look it up. I don't know if Google will show it to you, but it was created so that black people could have representation. A group of white people got together and said, let's do this. Let's create the Republican Party. And then, of course, they all try to say there was a switch when there was never a switch. But listen to Unjoyful Reed talking about affirmative action. She says the only reason why she got in school is because of affirmative action. Apparently, she didn't have the wits, to do on her own. And then she goes in there, she's complaining that she's in the school, saying that she shouldn't, the other students were treating her like she shouldn't be there. And then they come back and say, well, the only reason why she's here is because of affirmative action. Did you get in because of affirmative action or no? Listen to this.
Well, let me just be clear. I got into Harvard only because of affirmative action.
Yeah. She only got in there because of affirmative action.
I went to a school no one had ever heard of in Denver, Colorado, in a small suburb. I didn't go to Exeter or Andover. I didn't have college test prep. I just happened to be really nerdy and smart and have really good grades and good SAT scores. Right. But someone came to Denver, Colorado to look for me. A Harvard recruiter flew to Denver, and I met up with her at the Village Inn restaurant and did a pre-interview to get to pull me into Harvard. I was pulled in, and the schools like Harvard and Yale that I got into affirmatively. Yes. And it was literally not saying we're going to take an unqualified person and put them in Harvard. Yes. We're going to take a very qualified person who we would never know existed and put them in Harvard. That's how I got there. That's how Ketanji got there. That's how Justice Jackson, I should say. Justice Jackson got there. It's how Clarence Thomas got there.
You notice she didn't say Justice Clarence Thomas. You notice that? And he's been there a lot longer than Ketanji Jackson Brown. But she doesn't say that about him. You notice that?
Right. But the minute I arrived from my majority black little town, Montbello in Denver, to Harvard, the first week or two that I was in class, my presence was questioned by white people. I was in this big conference class where some white students stood up and said, those students, the black students, they're only here because of affirmative action. It became a huge argument that we all ended up having. This was freshman year. I had never had my academic credentials questioned. I had never had anyone question whether I was intelligent until I got to Harvard.
Well, I think we all question it today.
I mean, the person didn't lie. She just admittedly said she wasn't because of affirmative action.
You know, that's exactly my point. In one sentence, when she first said that she was able to get there, Shannon, because of affirmative action. And then she's complaining because someone said the only reason why you're here is affirmative action.
And my question
what part of that is not true?
And my question is, if she would have applied to Harvard, maybe she would have gotten in. But she didn't even apply for Harvard, according to her story. They just looked in a magnifying glass and said, where's a person in this area that's black that could come to Harvard?
Yeah.
Which, there is recruiting. I get it. Right. But she acts like she should be offended that she got in there by affirmative action. And on the other hand, she's bragging about getting there through affirmative action.
It's like she doesn't even realize what she's saying.
Arrived from my majority black little town, Montbello in Denver, to Harvard, the first week or two that I was in class, my presence was questioned by white people. I was in this big conference class where some white students stood up and said, those students, the black students, they're only here because of affirmative action. It became a huge argument that we all ended up having.
What's the argument? What is the argument? It's a legit question. What is the argument? We just talked about it. She just admitted that she was there because of affirmative action. And now she's saying it's an argument because students there are saying that the only reason why you're here is affirmative action. What's the argument?
Freshman year, I had never had my academic credentials questioned. I had never had anyone question whether I was intelligent until I got to Harvard. And it was a defining point of my experience there. It's why I really was one of the many reasons I was miserable there my freshman year. Yeah. You felt completely out of place and people keep telling you shouldn't be here. And yet, some of the people I went to school with were far less smart than me or the other black folk there. They got in because their daddy and their granddaddy. I went to school with somebody whose name was on one of the buildings. You're going to school with people whose names are on the buildings, who are third and fourth generation legacies, whose parents pumped money into Harvard to get them in. But that affirmative action is okay with this majority. They said that the people who benefited from slavery, their descendants, who are so far ahead of black folk in terms of opportunity, that will never catch up to them. I don't care how many Oprahs we get. Those people's affirmative action is A-okay because those people can pay for fancy trips for them. Yeah. But you people who want to get in just because of your brains, but you're not from a legacy, too bad. you can't come in.
That's a total lie.
That is a total insult.
So wait a minute. So is she on MSSTD because of affirmative action?
Right.
I mean, that's the only reason why she's on MSSTD then. Because of affirmative action.
I question her intelligence, period.
Yeah, 100%.
But here's the other thing. The sad thing is that she really insults all the Black people that got in because of their merit, because they were smart, because they did do the work, because let's be honest, they had money. Some Black people have money too. It's not only white rich people. There are white Black people in America, right?
There's a lot of rich Black people in America.
So give me a break.
I had one guy.
She makes it sound like the only reason why Black people are getting into these colleges like Harvard, which I wouldn't want to go there myself, but is only because of affirmative action. And that's a lie. That is not true. That is not what is happening.
Well, she's
today.
on MSSTD because of affirmative action.
I mean, Jackson's on there because of affirmative action.
She's on the Supreme Court.
Biden said that.
Yeah, she's on the Supreme Court, affirmative action. And it shouldn't be about that. You know, and again, they do this because they suggest that Black people have a handicap. Black people can't do it. And because even Joyful Reed just mentioned saying I was smarter than some of the other people at the college. So is it about being smarter? Because if you're smarter and you pass and you can pass your SAT and you can do what is expected of you, then why not? Why not? Why not get the job? Why not get the promotion? Why not get into the school?
And you know what I think is funny too is California got rid of affirmative action in colleges. And you know, it's now known that more Black people, since they got rid of affirmative action, are graduating from college in California because they're going to colleges that are more appropriate for them and that they are desiring to go to. They're working hard to get in there. Mm-hmm. They're putting in the effort. They're putting in the work. They're getting in there and they're graduating. It's not always, believe me, I know some people who went to prestigious colleges and are just housewives. You know what I mean? That doesn't always guarantee you're going to have a great career.
Exactly.
But as long as you graduate. And so California graduation went up after for Blacks after affirmative action went away. Of course, Newsom is not going to talk about that. But what's his name did? The one running for president.
Kennedy.
No.
On the Democrat side?
No, the Republican. Oh, come on. He tried to run for governor.
He tried to run for governor, a Republican?
Yes, in California. He used to be on Fox News.
He used to be on Fox News?
Oh, come on, Will.
I have no idea what you're talking about. You're not talking about Larry Elders?
Yeah, Larry Elders. Oh. He said it. I mean, exactly. You exactly said the person you're not talking about. Well, that's exactly who I described. Come on now.
I'm like, what? You're not talking about Larry Elders, are you? Of course, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's what he said. He actually tweeted that after affirmative action came out.
Yeah. So let me change it up. Let me talk about, this. Remember President Trump was in office and they spent their entire time trying to figure out how to remove President Trump. From even before he walked through the doors of the White House, they were trying to figure out how to get rid of him, how to remove him, because they were terrorists. He was never impeached. He was never impeached. Actually, but they did it in the House because Nancy Pelosi had control and the Democrats. So they had the votes, right? They did it on hearsay information, fraudulent information. And when they did it on fraudulent information, trying to say that President Trump was, he was colluding with Russia, or it was because the whole thing with Zelensky, Ukraine, right? They tried to say President Trump, the transcript is the reason why we need to impeach him. And Pencil Neck literally lied. So they censor Adam Schiff because he lied about all the information that he presented in that fraudulent impeachment. So can we say that impeachment should go away? Both of them should go away because they were fraudulent. The only reason, look, look how they did with Adam Schiff, because he lied. He will forever go down in history as being a liar, a member of Congress that was censured for lying. Well, listen to this, because Marjorie Taylor Greene kind of brings it up, and she doesn't say that it needs to be like omitted or anything, but it should be erased from history because of what they did. Listen to this.
Working with the GOP conference chairwoman, Elise Stefanik, to correct the wrongs of the past. President Trump's political impeachments, led by Nancy Pelosi, Adam Schiff, and the Democrats, were so egregious that they must be erased from history.
Now, before we get to this, let me just make a comment, because I just saw someone that said they're looking for us on Rumble. If you can't ever find me on Rumble, or if you can't ever find me anywhere, you can put the comments on there real quick and we'll come back to this video. If you can't ever find me on Rumble or anywhere, go to uaf.media. If you go there and you just click on it, it'll take you directly to it. uaf.media. uaf.media, and it'll take you directly to it. Now, I am live right now on Rumble. You can see we got comments coming in right there. It's right here. These are comments that are people watching on Rumble right now, because I'm about to get ready to go over to Rumble, because I have some stuff that I cannot share here on these other platforms, because certain things you can say and certain things you can't say in a free society. In a free America, think about that. In a free country, there's certain things you cannot say. Very interesting. But let's get back to this clip that I want to share with you. Listen to this.
Quick answer from you, sir, if you could. You were an impeachment manager in Trump's second Senate trial. What does it say to Americans if Republicans actually end up voting for this?
There is no such thing known as an expungement of an impeachment in the United States Constitution. This is totally a made-up process. It's nothing more than a glorified press release with a fake vote. And by the way, with the second impeachment, there was bipartisan support in the House and in the Senate. 57 U.S. senators on bipartisan basis voted to convict, the highest in U.S. history. The Constitution does set a high threshold of 2/3, but you can't just erase that. It was televised. Millions of people saw it. And this is just more stupid stuff from a radical Republican caucus.
Wow, you hear this? So, of course, it was all on television. I'm talking about it. You knew about it. I knew about it. A lot of people don't know this. But when Nancy Pelosi hit the gavel to impeach President Trump, myself and Ben Bergquam, we were in the chambers. We were in the chambers because I wanted to be there, because to my understanding, never in the history of this nation had they ever impeached somebody over 100% fraudulent information. Both Ben Bergquam and myself, we were in the chambers. I was looking right at Nancy Pelosi when she hit the gavel. He's impeached. And they celebrated like they were watching the game or something. They were they were happy. They were shaking hands. They were like, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like a whole bunch of demonic demons acting like they just won.
Yeah, that's not something to celebrate, no matter what side you're on.
Yeah, they were so happy. They were so happy about it. And truly, there's nothing to celebrate. Well, let me tell you something that is something truly to celebrate. And that day is tomorrow, right? Amongst other days, but tomorrow being one of them. The 4th of July. Split screen this for me. What you're seeing in this image is a picture that I saw Kevin McCarthy, sometimes McCarthy, right? He put this on Twitter. And there's actually another picture with it, but I don't have it. I'm just going to describe it to you. To my understanding, this is the side of the House, because this is the Capitol in Washington, D.C. This is the side of the House, what you're looking at. And there's 5 flags, 5 United States flags, no other flags, no woke flags, no nothing else. Just American flags hanging. And to my understanding, this is the side of the House. The other picture, what I don't have for you, shows the other side, which is the Senate. Nothing, which goes to Mitch McConnell, of course, right? And Shucky Ducky Schumer. It's like they don't even care about America. What do you think the White House is going to do for the 4th of July? I'm just kind of curious. Do you think they're going to have wokeism out there again? Because they're all about doing that. So this was very nice to see. And I'm just sharing it because I thought it was very nice to see. And sometimes McCarthy, he put it out there and he said, happy 4th of July. So it says a lot. It says a lot. It really does. Okay, we are at that point where I'm gonna flip it over.
Yep.
We're gonna
we got
flip
a
it
super
over.
chat.
We're gonna flip over. Okay, yep, there it is. All right, you said we got a super chat?
Yep, we got a super chat from Lou.
Thank you so much, Lou.
And then let me look at the Facebook stars. We got stars from Tanya, Barbara, Marty, Dinah, Trent, Michael, and Chuck.
Awesome.
So thanks for your support.
Yes, thank you so much.
And for those that are not going to be with us over on Rumble, we want to wish you all a happy 4th of July. And will we be here tomorrow, Will? Or are we just going to... We're not, right? I think most people are going to be busy tomorrow night, so I don't think we're going to do a live tomorrow, but we'll be back on here on Wednesday.
On Wednesday. And for everyone that's not going to leave Facebook and join me on Rumble, and same thing on YouTube, thank you so much. God bless you. Please hit the thumbs up. Share the video one more time on your way out. I really appreciate it. And
celebrate our country. Be an example of what an American looks like here in America.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, we're going to Rumble. You see it. You see how to get there. UAF.media or rumble.com/Will Johnson /live. You can connect with me there.
Yep. Good night, everybody. God bless.
All right. Let's make sure. Are we good?
Yep. Ready to rumble.
We're good? All right. Awesome. All right. Let me get to this first one here. Okay. So y'all been seeing what's happening over in France, right? Y'all been seeing